Good day and welcome to Natural Health Dialogue. We're talking this month about our lizard-like organ, the liver.
Yeah.
Now, and last week we talked about the kind of cleansing the liver and taking care of it. But there's another thing you can do called flushing the liver. Now, I have no idea what that means, and I would really like to know.
Yeah.
Naturopathic Dr. Randy Lee, can you help us?
You betcha. You know what? I started off this thing by saying, what's the difference between a cleanse and a flush? Because we're primarily talking about cleansing on my podcast for this whole year, and this month happens to be the liver. But there is a place for a flush. So if you ask a dozen people, what's the difference between a cleanse and a flush, you could get probably a dozen different responses. But for my purposes here, I'm going to look at it this way. A cleanse is usually better in the long run. It takes more time. It's more thorough. It's a deeper cleanse. You may try to get an awful lot of stuff that's done. I call it deep cleaning. Well, that's what a cleanse does. But a flush can be used in something that's very simple, very quick, and just kind of dump stuff an awful lot. I use the analogy of let's get real crude here and use the analogy of the toilet in the bathroom. Not often do we spend a lot of time deep cleaning the toilet. I mean, everybody knows we have to do that. People hate to do it. We try to relegate it to the kids if we can. We don't have to do it. But the point is, it takes time. It takes some cleansers. It takes some scrubbing to get rid of all of the buildup on the toilet and to make sure that it's tidy white and clean, those kinds of things. That takes time. It takes effort. It takes energy. And yet every time we go to the bathroom, we give it a quick flush. And that gets rid of the major stuff that's going to cause problems for the bathroom in general. The smell, the stench of it, the gunk that's in the toilet. You get all of that with a quick, simple, quick flush. And so while we flush every time it's used, we don't do deep cleansing, but every once in a while. Well,
Right.
Last week we talked about a liver cleanse, and that would be the cleansing aspect, things that I do at least once a year, and some lighter cleanses that I do through the year just to keep my liver really well balanced and really well taken care of, because you can't live without it.
Are you then saying we should only clean our toilets once a year?
I think we should clean our toilets a whole lot more than once a year. But we do flush every time we use it. And so that's the difference. So what can you do for a flush? Now, I don't recommend liver flushes all the time. I look at them as an emergency procedure. If suddenly you are not your liver isn't functioning well, you've got all kinds of backup and buildup that's causing you anxiety or causing you pain, then that's kind of where the flush comes in. It's an emergency quick fix, or for an unexpected breakdown where you just need to go through there and flush it. Now, I throw in here at this particular point that I do not use flushes for gallstones or kidney stones or the buildup of liver items, because we don't know the size of those. You need to see a doctor and find out. You'll go in, they'll say, man, you got a kidney stone and it's 5 centimeters or it's 3 centimeters. Your kidney and your gallbladder are made up of nephron filters. You have a similar filtering system within the liver. We just said last week that everything that goes through your bloodstream is filtered through the liver to get rid of impurities, get rid of toxins. We don't want to send stuff through that it's so big that it's going to cause damage. So
Right.
this flush is not for that kind of a thing, but it is for something where you can feel an impairment that doesn't have, you just kind of ache in your liver, or you ache in your gallbladder or your kidney. So you get this flush together, and it's a fairly simple thing to do, and it's done over about a 20-hour period, 16 to 20-hour period. You can get this recipe in our recipe section on our website, or you can call me and I'll send you a copy of it, or whatever you want.
736-1030.
736-1030. You can easily do this over the weekend. I will tell you that if you're going to do this flush, you don't want to be very far from the bathroom, because just like when you push the handle down on the commode, it flushes immediately. That's what's going to happen in your body as well. So you will have a very large amount of diarrhea that lasts for a few seconds to a minute or so, and it's all over, but it comes sort of at the end of this. The ingredients that you need to do this flush are Epsom salts, water, olive oil, a little lemon juice, and an amino acid, if you can get it, called L-ornithine. I'll cover that a little bit more in a moment because it's not necessary, but it's helpful. So here's what you do. You start at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I usually do it on a Friday, Saturday, because I don't have to go to work on Saturday. But remember that on the second day of the cleanse, early in the morning, you need to stay right by the bathroom. So pick a day where you can be at the house when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
You take about a cup of Epsom salts, and you put that in water, and you set it aside. And then about every 2 hours, you're going to be drinking about a fourth of that solution, about a fourth of a cup of it. Now, we all know that Epsom salts is you can take Epsom salts baths in order to clean things off your body or out of your system. Epsom salts doesn't taste bad. It's magnesium, but it doesn't really taste very good either. So what you're going to do is at 2 hour intervals on the first evening, you take about 2 ounces of the 4 ounces of that solution, and then you wait for about 2 hours, and then you take 4 more ounces of it, and then you wait for about 2 hours, and by now it ought to be bedtime. And so you mix up a solution that's grapefruit juice, olive oil, and then the L-ornithine capsules, if you've got them. Those are becoming a little harder to come by, but you can get them online, or there are stores that carry them. I have carried them in the past at our store, but currently the company I was getting them from is not making them because they don't sell enough of them. Ornithine has a narrow use, but an important one, and it's a little harder to come by. You drink the olive oil and grapefruit juice. Now, that sounds really, really nasty, but there's an emulsifying process where when you put the grapefruit juice with the olive oil, you don't get that oily texture. It's actually not unpleasant to drink at all. But what that's going to do is that's going to really work on breaking down all of those things that are in the liver and getting them out of your system. The L-ornithine is to help you sleep more comfortably. It doesn't put you to sleep. It just makes this whole process more comfortable so you can get off to sleep. Lay on your back for about an hour, and then lay on your right side. Your liver is on your right side, so you're going to lay on your right side and try to sleep that way through the night. Next morning, you get up again, a fourth of the Epsom salts drink. 2 hours later, a fourth of the Epsom salts drink, and then be standing by the bathroom, because you will have kind of an explosive diarrhea that pushes everything out. And you're going to see in there a bunch of little gravel-looking things that come out of your gallbladder and your kidney. And you're going to see what looks like English peas or green peas. That's stuff that's being cleaned out of the liver. And it's a really good way to just kind of flush your liver, and you'll find out that you feel amazing after that. It's an easy thing to do. It's not a dangerous thing to do. It does take some planning in advance. But then if you want to really feel better, I've used it several times. Feel free to give me a call if you have further questions about it, 405-736-1030. And I just recommend a flush whenever you just feel a little sluggish in the cleansing department.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Randy. That's definitely something to think about and perhaps put into practice if it's needed.
I bet.
So until next week, be safe. Lord bless you.
Thank you. You too.